So typically when all the causes have been identified, all the tests have been done, and once we get to the confirmed causes, which has a significant impact, now it's a time to deploy or identify certain solutions which would help us to identify, which would help us to improve the current state or the project that we've undertaken. So that is something which we do it in the improve phase of the Six Sigma. So as I said, once the confirmed axis, and mind the word which is confirmed, which are the axes which have been tested that this has a significant impact, are known after conducting the hypothesis testing in the analyze phase, we move to the improve phase where we try to find out the best possible solution for the problem or the factors which is affecting the process. Okay, there are certain activities that we do it in the improve phase. First, we identify the solution. So likewise, in the fishbone diagram, we identify the causes with the help of cause and effect diagram or fishbone or Ishikawa. Similarly, we have to identify the solutions now. For identifying the solution, we need to conduct a brainstorm meeting to wherein we call all the project team members and wherein we call everybody and ask them to identify the different sort of solution that we have. Okay. Second is that once we identify the solution, then the second thing we have to do is to prioritize of the solutions. Prioritization is very, very important because if I don't prioritize it, then I would not know which of the solutions would have a certain amount of impact. Then we would go for a full scale implementation. We will go ahead and implement it. Sometime it's a pilot that needs to be run. If the cost of the implementation or if there is a mass scale implementation happening. Okay, there are major tools, three major tools that are used in the improve phase. First is the Gantt chart. It's a chart which helps us to prepare the detailed project plan and see that where the current status is. Second is the failure mode and effect analysis, which is FMEA. And third, which is the cost benefit analysis. So let's talk about one by one. So once, let's say we identified the solutions, let's say we have identified 10 different solutions and now we want to prioritize it. So we'll prioritize with the help of a solution selection matrix. So here we can see the example. So there is an evaluation criteria basis that you'll be able to prioritize the solution. And these evaluation criteria could be anything as per what you think which is important. Okay, it could be cost, it could be time, it could be result, it could be number of people who will be working on the solution. It could be ease also, that how easy it is going to implement. Okay, so wherein we will have a scale wherein we will be able to give a certain rating, and the ones which has high ratings, top 5 or 6, which needs to be prioritized and which will be help us in implementing those solutions. So the purpose of solution selection matrix is to prioritize the solutions that we have identified in the brainstorming discussion. Next, once the solutions have been identified, now it's a time to deploy them. So to deploy these solutions, it is very, very important that we use a detailed action planning so that each and every person who is going to work on that solution should know their roles and responsibility. We should also plan it in such a way that we should be able to complete it on time. So therefore we use the 4W1H tool. So 4W1H tool, okay, which talks about first W is what is to be done. Okay, so for example, if you have identified certain solution, or if you have identified a solution, what is that solution? Okay. Then the second W is where it is to be done, whether it is to be done for only particular region, whether it is to be done for one particular team, where it is supposed to be implemented. Then the next W is by when. It is the timelines that we are referring to, by when this solution is going to be implemented. Okay. And then the fourth W is who will be doing it. So this is basically assigning the responsibility, the ownership of the person who will be solely responsible to get these solutions implemented. There could be multiple teams sometimes wherein there will be multiple teams who will be helping to get the solutions implemented. But There will be a name of a person or a team who would be solely responsible, accountable to get these solutions implemented uh, to improve the current state. Then the H. So we talked about 4W, what, where, when, and who. And the H stands for how it will be done. So how it will be done should include the detailed plan. If there are certain activities that we need to perform, that is something which we will mention in the how it will be done. Okay, so this is a powerful tool which helps to deploy the solutions in a frictionless manner to produce results at the right point in time. So let's take an example here. So we have one solution which talks about the training is supposed to be done, wherein we identified there's a process gap. Now the what is to be done is that we have to do the training. So training is to be done. Where it is to be done, okay, it's mentioned in auditorium. We have to do that training in auditorium. By when? It talks about 3rd June is when, by when. Who will do that? There's a person called ABC who will be doing, who will be conducting this training. And how it will be done? There is a training agenda that we need to talk about, that how the training is supposed to have. If you want to mention something else also here, that can also be mentioned in terms of how it will be done. Okay. So this is how we will prepare the 4W1H to prepare a deployment plan so that the solutions can be implemented frictionless. Okay. So for your respective projects or when you do an action planning, please go for 4W1H tool. This will give you a lot of traction and visibility on the actions that you're going to implement. Now the next tool that I have is called FMEA. FMEA is failure mode and effect analysis. Failure mode and effect analysis is one of the most widely used risk management tool within and outside a Six Sigma project. As the name suggests, it is used to identify the failure mode of the process steps and their effect on the process. Subsequently, decides the risk treatment plan on the basis of the analysis done. So basically, failure mode effect analysis help us to identify the possible issues which might occur in the future. We try and prepare possible solutions to avoid these errors. So likewise, when we face any sort of a problem, we do the root cause analysis or we do the analysis to ensure that we are able to resolve that problem. However, FMEA is a proactive approach. Before even the problem occur in the future, we try and anticipate that what could be those failure modes, and we anticipate them and prepare a solution well in advance so that in case if that problem comes, we should be ready for it. Okay, so that's what is the failure mode effect analysis. Failure mode effect analysis identify risk needs to be quantified using the severity, occurrence, and detection on a scale of 1 to 10. So severity means how severe this particular risk or issue is on a scale of 1 to 10. The higher the severity is, which means it is very, very critical. This failure mode is very, very critical and this needs to be addressed, and there needs to be a strong action plan. Occurrence mean that how many times there is a probability that it can occur. So on a scale of 1 to 10, we have to give a rating. So likewise for severity, we give a rating from 1 to 10, 10 being very, very severe and 1 being very less severe. Occurrence means that this can happen only once in 10 occurrences, which is just 10% or less than that. Okay, so what is the probability? And detection talks about that when this failure mode comes or when this error comes, how easy I will be able to detect this. So detection basically is being tracked on a different scale. So detection of 1 means that I'm able to detect that very, very easily. And detection of 10 on a higher note, which means that when this failure mode occurs, when this error occurs, it is very, very difficult to detect. I will not be able to detect that. So that's a problem also, right? So for example, in a process, there is a batch fail or there is an error which has come, and due to that, the agents or the associates are not able to process transactions. But I was not able to detect that. I thought that the transactions are happening. So it's a bigger risk. It's a very, very big risk. That's what is detection all about. Okay. So with the help of severity, with the help of occurrence and detection, which is also known as SOD, there is a risk priority number which is being generated for each risk. Okay. RPN, which is also called as RPN or risk priority number. RPN is derived by multiplying S into O into D. So with the multiplication of severity, occurrence and detection, we get to the risk priority number. Okay. Finally, risk treatment plan is prepared and the ownership of implementing each solution is given to the respective individuals.